Hi, I'm going to be discussing something I find a bit interesting with you. We all know there are different types of learners in the world. There's visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. But is our education system actually catering to all of our educational needs? Well, let's look at it. The National Assessment of Education Progress in Canada found that 40% of the children in 4th grade don't read at the basic reading level. Something as important as reading is not grasped by at least 40% of children. And the most affected are children that do not learn in the basic ways or the conventional ways of teaching, which is a blackboard, a paper and a pencil, or just simply revising things again and again. So why is something as important as teaching not taught and given more importance so that at least not 40% of the children wouldn't understand what's going on? Well, Dr. Louisa Moats has the answer to this. She's a teacher of teachers, and she explains that teachers are not taught how to teach children properly, and that's just the problem. So, how are teachers taught? They can have an undergraduate degree in anything they want, and then they're supposed to do 1 year in an acceptable teaching program. That's it. That's all the education a teacher requires. First, let's look at some place like Finland. Finland requires its teachers to be a part of the top 10% of graduates in the country, and then they're required to do a master's in education. I mean, you already see a vast difference in education there. And how are Finland's kids doing? They're doing pretty good. According to the assessment, these kids are one of the best at reading, writing, and math, and science. So, what is something else that these countries are doing? So we all know that the education is a problem. The education needs to be done differently. But what's one of the main reasons? So doing a little bit of research, I found that the principal of comprehensive schools stated this one fact, that all 63,000 individuals, educators in the country have one attitude, and that is whatever it takes. So they would do whatever it takes for one child or one classroom to be able to learn something perfectly. They would do whatever it takes. And when one method doesn't work, all they do is they collaborate, consult with other teachers, and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And they keep on trying something new until they find something that does work. So that is their goal. That's how they do it. So why aren't we doing that? I don't know. But what we do is if a child doesn't learn a certain way or at a certain speed, we see that there's a problem with the child, and we don't think about changing the system because why would we, right? Why would you change the system for a child? But as we can see, there's at least 40% of children that don't know how to read at the basic level. That explains the fact that there's not just one child, there's 40% of children. So why aren't we doing something about it? And why are we labeling children as having learning disabilities when all it could be is that the teachers aren't teaching them in the way that's most effective? Dr. Louisa Moats has done so much research and has found so many different techniques and ways to teach all different types of learners how to learn to read and write and do many other things, math and science as well, and that all these problems would be solved in the matter of just a year or even under, if the teachers knew how to teach. So that's why people like Louisa Moats need to get into contact with these education systems and really change the way we do things. So now, what can we do here? What's our responsibility? We need to make people aware of the fact that it's not okay for the teachers to only be focusing on a certain type of group that learns in a certain way. We need to be more socially responsible. So a way that I thought about doing this is I'll email the Ministry of Education and send them a note and just say that teachers need to be taught in a better way because of all of these facts that I've presented. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to link the links for a few of the teacher districts below so you can do the same. And are we socially responsible? Is it all of our responsibility in order to do this? I think so.